Basically, I posted this video 11 months ago called Why I Quit Goldman Sachs. And there were so many comments on it that I wanted to come on here and respond to a lot of them. So, together, for the next however long it takes me, we're just going to sit here and read through your comments. And I have to put it sideways so it looks like I'm like an iPad kid, but let's do this. Also, hope everyone's doing well. I haven't really posted on here in like maybe 2 months, but I'm excited to hopefully get back on here, and any ideas that you have or any things you want to hear about, I'm happy to share. So let's do this. So IWL2654, I don't even know if I should read out what they say, but said, it's been almost 4 years since I graduated, and I wish every college grad could see this in regards to the video, which also I agree, because I felt like in that video, I kind of shared like what I had been through, and it really helped me figure out some things too. I'm just going to get comfy and cozy because this might take me a while. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so she said, I spent all of college chasing Big Four consulting, thinking it was my dream job, but once I got there, it felt empty and draining. Same. I only stayed because I didn't know what else I could do. And when layoffs came, I actually felt relieved. I genuinely can relate to that so much. Like, I felt kind of relieved as well when I left, obviously, but I can relate to that. That moment pushed me to start figuring out who I really am and what I truly want, period. Now I work a normal job with no flashy title, but I love what I do and feel nothing but gratitude every day. Videos like this remind us there's no single right path, just lessons that help us grow. Thank you for the vulnerability and authenticity shown in this video. Thanks. That's so sweet. Also, I just think this is so funny because this was one of the first comments that I received on this video. And obviously, before I made it, I was a bit unsure. Like, is this even worth putting out there? Is anyone going to find this valuable? Like, it's my story, so is this even applicable to anyone else? But the fact that that was one of the first comments and someone said, I wish like I knew this and that there is no right path, I'm like, this is exactly what I was trying to say with this video. And I will go over some of the hater comments later, but yeah, I just found that to be really, really nice. And 64 other people liked it, so that was good. I wish I could put them like up on the screen, but it's all right. We'll just go with what I have here. Okay. So, Jules Zadebisi, 1898, said, great video. I work for Goldman as well. It's a cutthroat. She said doggy dog environment, and then people proceeded to comment under that to say dog eat dog environment. By the way, I would have said the same thing, but I was always told that if you can survive in New York, you can survive anywhere. I didn't know what that meant until I got there, me either, as a 21-year-old. I love what I do, and yes, you will make money. I did have to get a work life balance. I worked so many hours and didn't have much time for anything else. After 5 years, I earned an opportunity that gave me better work life balance. Yes. I think this is interesting because the whole like, I didn't know what that meant until I got there as a 21-year-old. I felt the same way. Like, I think a lot of people commented saying, how'd you not know that New York was not chill? But I genuinely didn't know because I had never worked there before. So that's such like a ignorant comment to make, or naive comment, that none of us really know anything until we try it ourselves. People can tell us all the time what things are like. And the truth was that I had interned in the Florida office. And after that experience, I kind of just realized I wanted to work harder and do something more and learn more. And then New York really was that, but it came with a bunch of other things as well. Okay. FA9082. Is it even worth me reading out what these say? I don't know. I'm going to do it anyway. I am an ex-investment banker. Once you have enough money, you can live off your investments. Everything else is just ego, with googly eyes. I used to think MD at Goldman was the pinnacle of existence. Now I realize the people that class of now I realize the blah, 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 class of people are actually very unimaginative and become extremely trapped by extreme lifestyle inflation. I also used to think being an MD at Goldman was like an incredible experience. Because my initials are MD, I always thought I would be either a doctor or an MD at Goldman. Was like my joke when I was recruiting, which also it's good to have a joke when you're recruiting, very memorable. Um, but yeah, I feel like for me personally, after I left, I really just decided what kind of life do I want to live. And I basically took like everything I really needed became like my necessities, and I kind of just built off there. I didn't really and never really was someone who had problems with lifestyle inflation. I was always pretty frugal and actually did really well in my investments to the point where I basically, after a while, left because I realized, like, everyone in my world stressed about retirement and like saving up for retirement. But because I had lived so frugally when I worked at Goldman, I basically was done with my retirement at a young age. By the time it compounds, I'll be fine. So I just thought, why am I wasting my time doing something I don't love? Like, it was that simple. And then I left. Okay. Britt T7T said, I felt like that too in finance, especially for girlies, I bet. I had to give it a try because I was offered an opportunity by my employer and I was obliged to give it a fair shot before pivoting into another field. I question that. Who obliged you? What does that mean? After 5 years of high performing service, I handed in my month's notice and told the recruiter during my exit interview that I was chasing money rather than a career I genuinely was interested in. Good for you, Britt. I took a 6 month sabbatical and began a 3 year full time graduate program. I then started a second full time graduate program, finished both, and finished my certifications. Looking back on paper, I wasn't that different than any other person with a 4 year degree. Today, I don't have to worry about competing and I can live wherever I want. Good for you. Good for you. I'm definitely not in the graduate program vibe or anywhere close to that, but you're crushing it. That's amazing. I love that, Britt. Okay, Red Diamond Trader 007. These all are very long, which I think was also why I wanted to come on and respond to them, because I felt like when I watch YouTube videos and I look at the comments, people kind of just say, like, great video, thanks so much, love this. But it felt like everyone was kind of having like a confessional in the comment section. And I just thought that was really fascinating and also kind of a way we can all come together. So, Red Diamond Trader 007 said, I can relate to the lack of purpose and joy. That may seem crazy to people who know me because I worked extremely hard to reach the level I am, teaching those who want to be professional ES day traders. However, I recently shared with another that in some ways I'm no longer fulfilled by what I do. Yeah, I can relate to that. What's also super interesting is that, again, it's like a confessional. Like, people have come here to really pour their hearts out. And I'm really grateful for that because I feel like sometimes maybe we can't talk about these things with other people around us, or we feel like we can't, or maybe we just have a few safe space people that we feel like we can share things with. But also, I think what this person said about that may seem crazy to people who know me, because I felt the same. It was like, it may seem crazy to people who know me that this is just not how I want to live my life, because I was such a high achiever. But I genuinely think the past few years have really just been healing the high achiever in me and kind of finding greater purpose in life in general. It's weird though, because I was never one who chased, like, I never actually wanted like the fancy cars, fancy home. That was not actually who I was, even as a kid. I was very much like, I cared about the environment. I cared about my friends, the people around me, the world around me. I always cared about the kid on like the other side of the street, or just everyone. I was always thinking about people. And that's also why I ended up working in New York, was because I just loved people so much. And I felt like, one, I like to learn things. So I felt like Goldman was kind of a place where I could learn at a high level. And two was that I love serving people. And I felt like it was such an honor to serve people at the highest level. Like, I just was that nerd that was like, I just feel so grateful to be here. And then I think the environment and the cutthroat is just not how I naturally am. I'm not like that at all. I'm very like inclusive and I want everyone to get along. So I kind of realized that that was not for me. But obviously, I wanted to give it my best shot. So I worked hard, but eventually I was like, this is not for me. So I get that. I get that. Diamond trader, I feel you. Um, Maybe, and this continues, maybe at some point I'll turn my tools and teaching over to him when he's ready. Okay. I know what really gives me joy, and it's working with children and youth. That's so wonderful. I likely won't give up trading altogether, but focus more of my time working with kids in music. I just find like this is true for all of us. Like, we all have something that we, you know, really love or want to work on that maybe we don't really work on too much. Um, So I feel that. That's wonderful. You should absolutely do that. I give you full permission because sometimes we don't give ourselves permission, but you should do that. Okay, let's keep going. Nothing in the chat because there's no one watching this, but hopefully it helps one of you out there. Okay. Insignifico said, "It was great listening to your story. Great video. Thanks. It was very much genuine." Well, it's kind of what you get with me. It's very true. Which is hard to come across, really. Happy that you're in a direction of real fulfillment. Thank you so much, Insignifico. That is very kind. That is a very, very, very kind message in a world of some trolls because they're here and I will stay till the end because I'm going to go through some of their comments. Okay, next. Chris John Page said, "I really relate to your list about NYC. I'm constantly thinking about leaving, been here for 4 years and feel like there's nothing here I'm aspiring to do, but then I feel like I'm giving up by leaving." I definitely wanted to include this one in here because I can relate so much to the whole giving up narrative. I felt the same way. I felt like I was giving up on my life in New York, but I want you to know that you're only moving towards something that's more aligned with who you are. Like, people change. We all change. We should change. You shouldn't want to stay in the same thing all the time. Like, we're ever evolving beings. And good on you. Like, if you're already saying that this is not working for you, then I think the truth is that it really is that next step of just having the courage to do it and to take the jump or take the leap, you know? And I believe in you, Chris John Page. You can do it. Yeah. I just think I felt like giving up. I felt like I was giving up a lot. As in, like, not that I was giving up my lifestyle or any of that, but I felt like, oh, like, I don't quit things, you know? Like, I keep going, I push through, that's who I am. But then I started realizing that, like, do I have to push through? And I think I shared in that video that one of my friends came to visit and he looked at me and he was like, "I'm really worried about you." And he was right. Like, I just looked like all the life had been sucked out of me. I wasn't even dressing cute anymore. And I think I mentioned that in the video, which might have annoyed people. But like, for a girl to not care how she looks, like, or even taking care of herself, it's not really natural. I think it's very natural as the feminine to want to dress cute and do our hair, do our makeup, or even anything small, do the nails or clean our space around, like all these tiny things. And I just felt like I wasn't doing any of that. And then I really just decided and kind of realized that, like, I'm not giving up. I'm just moving towards something better for me. Like, that's with anything that you leave in life. Like, whether you're leaving a relationship or you're leaving a friendship, friendships, I've definitely had experiences with that. Whether you're leaving, like, I don't know, a town that you grew up in, it can feel like you're giving up, or yeah, it feels like a bit of a loss, doesn't it? But you only gain because you make more space for things that really align with who you are. I can speak to that from experience. Okay, we have NAD1313. I guess I could just say 1313, but that's okay. Okay, girl, I also quit GS after 2 years. Good for you. I didn't change teams like you, and honestly, I was wondering if changing teams would have helped my situation. It wouldn't have. It didn't change anything really. I mean, I was much happier with the team I was on because I really just, yeah, I was learning more, new team, new environment. It was better for sure, but it didn't really change much because in my heart I already knew it wasn't for me. So I'm very grateful to hear your situation, and I felt very similar to you. Good. The point of this video that I made was, even if it felt like a confessional for me, it was like, I just hope it helps someone on the other end. Like, I hope you watch this and some part of you changes or some part of you feels open to possibilities, really. Um, Good luck to you. And we had to quit the prestige for happiness. True. It's definitely not easy, though. It's not easy. That's why most people don't do it. So you really have a lot of courage for doing it. So good job, NAD1313. Okay. Oops. Let's go back to drive. Oh, I just lost it. Hold up. I just got a text. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh wow, I have a lot of comments in here. Let's keep going. How long has this been? Okay. Okay, here we are. Torvik7780 said, Currently intern in S&T in Paris. S&T is sales and trading. Dreaming of GS. Girl, you sure? Not that happy inside. That should tell you enough. Good to discover that GS, JP Morgan, MS, Morgan Stanley won't make me more happy long term. No, nothing external will ever make you happy, but that's for another video. But I still want to try. I don't know, sounds like a mistake I want to discover. We all have to explore. Like, I just think it's so easy for me to sit here and be like, you shouldn't do it. But I don't think that's actually true. I think that you should do whatever feels right for you. And if you feel like you need to go for this experience, do it. But if there's also a part of you, if you've seen my video at the same time and about a month in, you're like, oh, shoot, then you also have permission to leave. Like, you have to give yourself that grace that I wanted to try it and it didn't work. Like, I know a lot of the comments on the video were like, how'd you not know New York wasn't chill and like all these different things. But for me, New York was my dream. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to live in New York and I wanted to have like a big job and I wanted to like do something great for the world. And it didn't really check all the boxes, but it checked some of them. And yeah, I think I always was a high achiever. I always wanted to push myself and be the best. And then when I got there, I was like, oh, this is not the way I want to push myself. Like I want to push myself for good, like in different ways. So anyway, yeah, I feel you on that. I'm gonna let you decide if you're gonna discover or not. But you should know that it's all kind of the same. I would implore you to think about like what drives you, like what motivates you every day, what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled. Because I think the benefit of our youth is that we actually can explore those things, and as we should. And if you're stuck in a job that doesn't feel like you, then you have every right to go find something else and not just find another job of the same stature. Because I can actually share what my journey has been like after leaving Goldman and just kind of repeating the same patterns, but not waking up from them. I broke patterns in other areas of my life, but especially with work, it was like I kind of ended up in the same environment that I had it at Goldman. And yeah, I had to learn from that. I was like, oh my God, I did it again. Because I thought work had to be this stressful. I thought work had to be this negative, but like it doesn't. I think there's actually ways to make it fun. Okay, anyway, I could sit on that one forever, but it's not a mistake. It's just what you need to do. Like you have to follow your heart and you have to trust your gut. And if there's a part of you that wants to try it to learn the lesson, then go through it for sure. But also feel free to ask more questions, Torvik. Okay. Brian Lee 3492 said, wonderful video. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights and wisdom with us. You are so welcome. I hope you're continuing to find your sense of fulfillment in your next chapter. Oh boy, if only you knew. I feel like I don't even know what these past few years have been like. Like, have I found fulfillment and stuff? And like, I feel like when I left Goldman, there was a part of me that thought that I was going to figure it all out. Like, oh, I'll find the ultimate answer. But then I think I quickly realized like that doesn't really exist. And so, yeah, then I kind of realized that fulfillment is like this ever evolving thing. But there is a fulfillment in helping others and helping people who maybe have gone through something like you, or people who are maybe thinking about working at Goldman or whatever it is, or working in a corporate job, not being happy. But I think there's more to that story. So that could be its own video. Joe Printer Q7S said, hi, Marielle, wonderful video. Thank you. What personal development training did you take? I guess I realize now we're like 20 minutes in. I could have started this video with questions like this, where someone is asking a question, because then it prompts more to talk about. Instead, I just started with a bunch of confessionals, but also I liked that. So, okay. And I have a little bit of tea, so I'm just gonna take some tea. What personal development training did I take? I did a lot of personal development training, but the one I started with, the one that I did, which then changed like the trajectory of everything, was when I was working in New York. I took 2 days off work to do this 4-day seminar with Tony Robbins, and it was called UPW, Unleash the Power Within. And it kind of just, oh, thanks, Joe. It's been amazing to see your journey following your gut. Cheers to that. how long did it take you to make the decision of leaving Goldman? Oh, well, you're right on time because I was just about to say that. Um, oh, sure thing. Mic a little louder. I'll just put it closer. Does that work? Hello, hello. Okay. I don't know if it's the gain. I don't know how any of this stuff works, but oh, maybe it is the gain. Does this work better? No, maybe not. Oh, there. It sounds good. Let's go. That sounds good. Cool. This arm is just moving. So we're just learning as we go. I think that's better. Okay, let's keep going, team. This mic doesn't want to be part of it, but that's okay. Okay, so, oh yeah, the personal development that it's better, but this thing keeps moving. So I can just move it closer to me and hold it. Okay. The personal development training that I took was the Tony Robbins. And then the question was, how long did it take me to make the decision of leaving Goldman? It took me that course, like that 4-day seminar, but that's actually not true because I worked for a year on one team, switched teams hoping like that would figure things out. It didn't. Then I then what happened? Then I, after a few months on that new team, kind of realized, oh shoot, nothing really changed. It was more of like a values problem and like what I really desired and wanted in my life problem, not like an external problem. So there was a lot of internal work that needed to be done. And then I had kind of like 3 months after that, like January, March, and oh my God, January, February, March, where I basically was like, okay, I have no plans and I'm just gonna like sit and figure out my life and kind of journal and all the things. And then I took that personal development training around the same time in March. And then I was like, oh my goodness, like I need to leave. Like this is clearly not working. I need to figure things out. Cause I was sort of in an in between state, which I think is the worst place to be. Scarlett, turn the left dial to 3 o'clock. I don't even know what 3 o'clock is. Like this? Is that better? I hope it's better, but I don't even know. We'll just keep going. I'm going to keep going and concentrating. Okay. So, yeah. And then after that, I basically, I took that training in March. And then after I took the training, I was like, I need to leave. But that was March. And I was like, okay, I need a plan. And I'm going to like save up some money and stuff just so I'm like ready to leave. And then I ended up going on a hike with my dad. We hiked through the Swiss Alps for 5 days with no phone, like literally just from a hut to a hut. So they have these, they're called hüttes, these huts in the middle of the Swiss Alps. And yeah, my phone was off for 5 days. And I think I was just looking out at the mountains, just being like, this is not for me. Like, I need to make some decisions when I got home. And that was in June. And then I left in July. So I think it was like the week I got back, I just was like, I need to pull the plug. I have no idea what's next. But then 3 weeks later, after I quit, I ended up at another Tony Robbins event and met a lot of special people in my life that are still with me today. So that was the best part of that. Hi, Big Four here, left after 4 years. Whoa. What was that experience like? And what did you do in the Big Four? So curious. That's good. And what are you doing now after the Big Four? I feel like there is this weird in-between period after leaving one of these corporate roles, which I feel like there's a lot of themes like parents' approval, safe jobs, kind of just living in a bit of a box. And then when you break through, you're like, oh my God, like what do I even do with my life now? Like it's kind of wild. Okay, so next comment, nobody's fool 2232. Just celebrated my this is actually a different one. I remember seeing this. Just celebrated my 13th anniversary at Goldman. There are lots of ways to live life well and other great places you can work. But Goldman's reputation as the smartest people in the room brings the firm opportunities to other people in the room. And because that reputation is true, it means you're surrounded and enabled by the best in the biz, creating a unique work environment with a high trajectory. Yes, good for you. If that's what you want, like amazing. And obviously you've stayed for 13 years and you're happy about it. So that is good for you. The funny thing that she said, or whoever wrote this said, is you're 100% right about the $700 wallet though. I had shared this story about how when I got my bonus at the end of the year, I had like invested, done all the things, and then I basically just was like, should I treat myself and get myself like a $700 wallet? Because everybody at work had like nice stuff. But again, that wasn't me. I didn't care about like Louis Vuitton and like all these different things. I was like this nature girly who just cared about serving people. And I'm like, do I just get it though? Like, should I just like treat myself? And then I decided instead of buying that $700 wallet, I invested in that 4-day seminar, which was like just under $700. So spend your bonus wisely is what I would say. Okay. Nothing else coming through in the comments. Okay. Oh gosh, I hope I'm not butchering this. Janelle Shayna K said, so very, very proud of you for asking yourself the tough questions and not being afraid to step away from societal norms. Thank you. You too, with whatever you've done, because clearly you can relate. And it is hard. Shek, oh God, I'm going to butcher your name. I'm not even going to try. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it would just be so bad. All I know is Pathy is the last name. Okay, wow. What a powerful statement coming from such a young person. I have to learn so many lessons from you. Thank you. That's very kind. Keep watching, I guess. Show up to the next live. Just kidding. Okay. These are hard usernames. Can we get some normal usernames? I can't pronounce these. It's not even that. It's like there's just so many numbers, and I can't tell if these are just Deut. Like, is that a first name or is that just like a bunch of letters put together? I don't know. Said, I think your real goal would be telling us how you got a job at Goldman from non-target schools. That honestly should be a whole video in and of itself. I have like so many stories of like how I did that, and I don't even know where to start with that, because I think that starts with like when I was a kid. Like I've just always thought differently about these things. I actually got into Cornell and into Michigan for their honors program, University of Michigan, both hard places to get into. And I just kind of was like, no, I'm not doing this, because anyone can be successful from these schools. Like it's actually, there's a path laid out for you to be successful. So I don't know if it's the rebel in me or what it is, but there was just a part of me that was like, could I do this somewhere else where I'm still honoring myself? Because I felt like I could choose my own path if I ended up going to Indiana for school, go Hoosiers. And I just thought like, if I go there, could I like write my own script of my life? And I think that's true. Like, I think sometimes some of these larger schools, I probably would have felt like a cog in the machine. But at the school I ended up going to, I felt like I could really write my own story. And that was really special. All right, let's see. We have a question. Do you have identity crisis after quitting? Yes. Si, senor. I definitely did. How do you feel? I think that's a good thing. Like if your whole identity is being dismantled, like that's actually phenomenal, because it means that you're living something that's not true to you. So I did. And how did you fill in those working hours? And are you back to America Corp? I'm not back to American Corporate. I don't think I'll ever go back. I'll just always find other things to do, like YouTube. How do you fill in those working hours? Well, it depends what you do after. I think for me personally, I was definitely like just completely flat out tired, exhausted. So I moved to Paris and I just let myself enjoy my life for a few months. It was helpful that I'd saved up money, because that was important for me. It feels weird though to go from this transition of like you're expected to be somewhere from this hour to this hour to then going to all my time is open. How do I even fix it? Or how do I even like schedule things? And that will teach you enough about yourself of like how you operate in the world, and where like maybe you have like emotional things or like anxieties about life. I don't know. I would just say having open time definitely taught me a lot about myself, and having an identity crisis after quitting is completely normal, because you basically, for me at least, like you go your whole life thinking you're one thing, and then you wake up and you realize that's not who I actually am, and then you quit whatever that thing is for you and you move on to something else, and you're like, who am I then if I'm not that? And I feel like for me at least it was like an internal journey. Okay, cool. Left just before audit manager. Environment had just become so difficult that it simply wasn't worth it. I feel you on that. It's interesting. I feel like that's been the key theme, is just the environment. of like how we treat one another. And I just felt like in my experience, it just wasn't the kindest way to treat one another. So I didn't personally enjoy that part of it. But I'm a very sensitive being. So that probably was also why. Maybe I should make a video about how I got to Goldman out from a non-target, but I don't want to attract the wrong audience here because this is really all about healing a high achiever. Like the journey I've been on for the past few years after leaving Goldman is way more fruitful and beneficial to anyone listening than going to Goldman. Like it's actually the complete opposite of what I would want to talk about, but it's also interesting because I think it kind of also informs why I left and who I am. So we'll see. Okay. Let's see. MYT97 said, great video. Would love to know more about the networking skills. That's my biggest problem. Networking skills. Networking is if you care about people or not. Like I've been to so many networking events where you bump into people and they basically give you their business card and you know nothing about them. You have nothing in common and there's no reason why you should be doing business together. Just saying. But if you really care about people and you're genuine, then that to me is the best networking. And the second thing would probably just be have a really good pitch about who you are, which even if you go through an identity crisis after leaving, when you're first, whatever you're finding in your life, you're going to have a pitch of like, this is who I am. And it's always changing. But that's what I would say. Networking is, do you care about people? Like, do you genuinely want to meet with people all day? And are you curious about them? Are you curious about their insights, their perspectives? Like, one thing that was helpful in leaving though was someone told me like, if you wouldn't want to swap places with the person you're talking to, then it's obviously not the role for you. And I had like 300 coffee chats in 2 years at Goldman. I kept a spreadsheet of everything. I was pretty insane. And in these 300 coffee chats, there were a lot of like VPs and managing directors. And I just kept asking them questions about their life and what they enjoyed and, you know, why they liked their job and all of those questions. And then it became very clear that they were not who I wanted to be personally. Maybe someone else wants that life, but it was just like, this is not who I am, which again is like the whole identity crisis thing, but it worked out. Okay. We're almost getting to the hate comments, which is always fun. Just kidding. Okay, Contrarian Expatriate said, you're still quite young, so these realizations are not intuitive. I guess not. But life is a series of discovering what is and what is not for you. I agree with that. The blueprint we are given by our upbringings are starting points, but you are free to deviate and discard whatever does not serve your life purpose. Damn, that's good. It's so true. That's so true. I feel that our upbringing kind of sets this model and this mold of what life should be about. But then we get to decide as we grow up what we want the world to be about. I think some people get super lucky and don't get influenced by the mold that's sort of maybe put on them as a child. But most of us don't really have that. And then we wake up one day and we realize this is not who I am at all. These are not the things that I want. I think these are things that other people wanted for me. And I was kind of just like operating in that sphere. And then we can kind of just like burst our own bubble and pop out and be like, I want different things for my life. So yes, I completely agree with that. And yeah, that was well said. Okay. Last positive comment. BH90 said, my daughter's in the class of 2026. This was the most recent comment. I figured we could end on that one. And we're all getting worried. She still hasn't found a job after 3 months. A Goldman Sachs job would feel like hitting the jackpot for us. But since you quit that dream job, I guess the grass really is always greener on the other side. It definitely comes with a price tag, a bunch of laughing faces. It does. And also I would tell you, like, what does your daughter want? And if she still hasn't found a job, she probably is like struggling to communicate what she wants. So I found that if I would have had a space to maybe share the things that excited me in life and what I really genuinely enjoyed and had the support to say, hey, go after that exact thing, even if it was unconventional, I might have done that. So I think that's something to think about if this is your daughter and you're her mom. Yeah, of course you're going to get worried. That's like clearly a very common response, but she probably is just navigating a lot, I would imagine. And just because I got a Goldman Sachs job that was very secure didn't actually mean it led to fulfillment or even security at all in who I felt I was. So the grass is always greener. Let's address the haters. Okay, what are we at? Let's wrap this up and address the haters. And then I'm happy to answer any questions. I hope you do more of these. Yes, I will. I think I might do these weekly if people submit more questions and stuff. It's really fun to chat. The funny part is they sell it as a best place to work. Haha. I assume it's the same at Goldman Sachs. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like this whole thing of whose definition is that? Like best place to work, but by who? Like by a magazine that dictates how much like leave and benefits you get and how much security you get. Okay. But like, is it best place to work for the soul? I'm not sure. I don't know about that. Is it the best place to work for a creative mind? Maybe not. But that's where I think it becomes the journey of knowing yourself and kind of understanding the things that motivate you and who you are. Because for some people, it literally is the best place to work. But for me, it just wasn't. And that's okay. Like everyone's different. Former GS here. Hey, left after less than 5 years. What have you been doing since leaving GS? I feel like I get this question all the time, which I think I should just make a video about what happens after, or maybe a video about identity crisis after, because that was a very interesting time. Weekly. I agree. I think weekly lives are fun. And hopefully we'll also get some girlies in here who have some questions or maybe want some connection or like want to, relate to this experience. But let's do some hate comments and then we will finish. So this one made me giggle so much. I just can't. Because this guy says, Pete Troy 72 Blue goes, la-di-da, just didn't like BCG. La-di-da, didn't want to play with the sea animals. La-di-da, just a chemistry major. La-di-da, decided I'm going to do family finance at one of America's largest financial service companies. La-di-da. It is true. I'm very la-di-da, but I think that's what makes me very successful. Because the more that you can kind of see things as fun and silly and lighthearted and playful and energetic, the more that things just naturally flow to you has been my experience. Okay. So I also think it's just an act of love. Like the more you love things and the more you just keep going and keep trying new things, you're going to like be successful in something. So yeah, it was lottie-dying around. It was really funny. Like I didn't know anything about finance when I did this role, like at all. But I love to learn. That was the truth. I love to learn. I love smart people, being around smart people. I just loved all of it. Like I loved the stimulation, like how intense the learning was, but then there were a lot of downsides. So la-di-da, I did not want to, play with sea animals and did not want to be a chemistry major anymore. So yeah, you're right. Okay, big thanks 5489 said, at 43 seconds, you say you thought you achieved a dream by getting an entry-level analyst job at GS, ? You clearly didn't watch the video because I don't think anyone would say that that is like the dream. But my dream was living in New York and working in like a big job. So in a lot of ways, I got that. Like when I was a kid, I just like loved New York City. So for me, that was the dream. And then when I got the job that could support my life there, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I think for me also, as a woman, like I wanted financial independence. So I really wanted to support myself. And I did that. And that was really like, there were so many check boxes. I was like, oh, that's amazing. But then I woke up to, oh my God, but I need to like enjoy my work at like a different level. Like this is just not enough for me. This one is so mean. We're going to skip that one. Dr. Bob 369 said, a job that eliminates sleep is unbelievably stupid. You're right, Dr. Bob. I agree with you. I've actually gone on a journey of understanding health much more after leaving Goldman and just the ways that I like compromised my health from staying up late, staying out late in New York a lot, just all the things. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. That's all the comments that I had. Thank you guys for joining. How easy was it speaking to very senior colleagues? I think it depends on who you are and what you mean by this question. Do you mean like, was I nervous when I was speaking to senior colleagues? Because no, I don't really get nervous around like, I don't know, I'm very easy to talk to. But like as far as like accessibility, yeah, as a junior colleague, do you mean like accessibility to them? Like were they easy to reach out to? Because in that case, I would say Goldman was the best at that. Like I would bump into someone. Yeah, okay. So I would like bump into someone on the elevator. I actually bumped into the CEO of Goldman, and like had a chat with him, and then I emailed him, and like he responded, and I emailed him when I left. And I think for that, Goldman is like a great place to be. But yeah, I think it was pretty easy to speak to your senior colleagues. It's very like flat structure, they say, and I kind of did agree with that. I kind of never felt like I couldn't reach out to anyone. And if they didn't answer, then they didn't answer, but you could just follow up like 3 or 4 times and then eventually someone probably would. Has transitioning out of GS been difficult? Yes. I found GS set a very high bar for performance and expectation that trying to take that to other orgs can be met with resistance. Interesting. I feel like that's probably a personal experience because it depends on what you're working in. But I would say transitioning out of GS was difficult, but not for those reasons. Yeah, I found transitioning out of GS harder for the emotional aspects, but that could also just be like a girl's perspective, of just that's kind of the journey I personally went on. But as far as it relates to like performance and expectation, I think that's probably maybe what you're experiencing. But I hear you on like when you go anywhere else, there's like resistance, whenever a high achiever tries to bring new things to the plate. I remember seeing that like mediocre people hate high achievers and high achievers hate mediocre people. And then like when some people are just happy with how things are and how they've been, it can be really hard to change things. But yeah, transitioning out of GS has been difficult, not work wise. I've actually felt like I'm on a journey of finding more fulfilling work, but transitioning out was hard, more like emotionally, I would say. So yeah, I think that's probably something that happens in every org. For someone who doesn't find it easy, what would you recommend for networking, or like speaking to senior colleagues? I agree and appreciate your experience. Thanks for answering. You're so welcome. I'm glad that you put something in the chat. Thank you. Yeah, for someone who doesn't find it easy to network, have confidence. I think you have to work on your confidence with people. One thing that really helped me a lot actually was just knowing that whenever we put anyone on a pedestal, it's fake. It's actually not, no one is actually above you. Everyone is like right here on like a human to human level. That was how I would see people. And I think people really appreciated that. So if there was like an MD or a partner even that I wanted to like get in touch with, I just kind of saw them as a human. And I think that's really helpful. I think you have to remember that you're more valuable than you think you are. I think that's a really good statement to live by with networking and anything, is like you actually have more to offer than you think. And sometimes you have more to offer just by showing up as who you are and not trying to prove or be someone else. I think that really stood out, was just showing up as someone who was like myself, even if it was like a more professional version than maybe I am now. It was definitely like showing up and just being myself, being relaxed, being comfortable with people. So I think you have to practice that, maybe just like go on 10 coffee chats with people and then practice. That would be a good idea. Okay, let's see if I missed anything. P.S. I loved your 300 coffee chat spreadsheet commenter. Like, that's real. I did that. I have that still. I'm the same way. That's so funny. As you should be. Like, I even remember once, this might be weird, but I had analysts in my class who were like my age, and I was working on my spreadsheet one day when we were all together. And sometimes it was a bit cutthroat, or people were always nosy and wanted to know what you were working on. And I'm not like that. I don't care. Like, what people are working on. I just want to support them. But I think that they didn't like that their name was in the spreadsheet. But I was like, I have the memory of a goldfish. If you're not in here and I don't remember how we met, a month from now, I might forget. So some people liked it, some people didn't. But yeah, it's amazing though, because then when I left, I was able to write like a handwritten note to a bunch of people that really inspired me, even if I hadn't talked to them in a year. And that's another thing, a networking skill, if people want to know. write handwritten notes. Like, I think just care about people on a human level. And I don't know if a high finance or corporate job is really a place where there is that space to like care on a human level sometimes when things are stressful. But if you go first and you really show that to people, people respond. So yeah, let's see if I missed any questions. Okay. I hope I do more of these too. And I hope I figure out lighting next time because now it looks great. I just think the identity crisis after quitting question is so funny because yes. Okay, I think I got everything. This is a good one. How has your decision impacted those around you? Anybody else also follow you? I guess this is good just in hindsight. Yeah, actually, great question. I think who I am now inspires a lot of my friends and people in my life to kind of take the leap or have the courage in themselves to do things. Like, I just left another role because it wasn't right for me. And I think that that just happens sometimes. You know, you think something's going to work out and you work on yourself and you find something that you love. And then you find out that actually this is not what you want to do anymore. So that's life. Like, it really is. But I've definitely had friends who said that I inspired them or like decided to trust their own gut. And I think for women who are listening, it's really important to not think with your head, but think with your heart and like feel with your heart, really, because you know, you can ask ChatGPT all day what you should be doing and it will tell you what it thinks. But it's not a human soul or heart. It doesn't know what you're feeling or how your gut feels. Like, ChatGPT can't read your gut. So you can ask it to make you feel better about everything that's going on in your life. But if you already know the answer inside, like, it's good to follow that. And it doesn't mean it has to be right away. I think me taking time to leave Goldman probably was the best thing for me because I had time to like save up some money so that I could leave. And maybe there were still some things I wanted to like tie up some loose ends, or maybe there was like a part of the firm that I still wanted to explore just to make sure that I was like making the right choice. So yeah, you really just have to follow that. And yes, people did get inspired, even in my friends and family, which was kind of interesting. I'm just checking. I think we're good. Oh, wait. Did you have a stressful commute to the office? Did that contribute to your decision? No. Are you having a stressful commute to your office? I did not. I yeah, I didn't really have a stressful commute. I actually had a nice little walk to the subway. I just felt like depressed on the subway, to be honest. I was like, what are we all doing? Like, is anyone alive here? Like, you know, when your soul wakes up and you're just like, are you guys good? Because like, I'd really like to like live life. Anyway, I think we are coming to the end of the stream. Happy to do this weekly, excited to do this weekly. Yeah, Kingston on Thames to Waterloo is stressful. I have been to England on the tube in the morning when everyone is commuting to work. And it literally, not only is it stressful, it's like one of the most depressing places to be because no one is smiling. Like, it's so bad. Not gonna lie, I found you from Why I Quit GS YouTube search. Yes, a lot of people did. That's why I made this, because it got a lot of traction. So I figured people wanted to hear more. I appreciate your perspective. You're so welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining. This was so fun. First live stream of hopefully many. I'm glad you stayed for the better lighting too, because this is a little bit better. I will see you guys in the next one, and thank you so much. Bye. See ya.